give Olivia a chance to ask a question as well, because
Yes,
we
yes,
have
yes,
to.
yes, sorry, sorry, yes,
Please
yes,
don't
yes.
come for me for this
No.
question.
We are coming for you, right? It's late.
So and something I battle with a lot because of the people I hang out with. Why is it that African men find high-earning women, high-flying women intimidating? And the reason why I say this is amongst, my friends, group of friends, we're all, in terms of like our professional lives, very successful,
Right.
directors, CEOs, chartered accountants, management
Right.
consultants, and also, very independent women, own houses, cars, whatever.
Right.
Why do men, in particular, African men, and I'm saying African men because other men of other races have got no problems with women that are, the
Right.
ones that we've encountered. Why do
Right.
African men find women who are successful to be so intimidating, and why do they feel the need to pull her down to a certain level? Because remember I said, I found my skirts were going missing, my stilettos were being, why is that intimidating for men? Why can't you just be like, look, my person, she's doing well, be her cheerleader, stand there and do things, because at the end of the day, her success is your success as well, right? So I need to understand that.
Well, I will say, fair or unfair, naturally, us men are providers, right? So when you see a woman that's at your level, or maybe even higher, you do not see yourself actually being the head. It's natural for men. You want to be looked on as the provider, right?
Yeah.
So once you see that, you already see it as a competition.
Like a threat to the position of being the provider.
Like, is she really going to be submitting to me if she's bringing in more than me, or more successful than me? So I'm speaking in general. It's not every man that thinks that way, but already from a male persona, as a man, how we're built, that's already how you see that woman. When you see her in the workspace, she's like a you're both lawyers and whatever, you're going to see her as a competitor more than a partner.
Right.
To add on to that as well, Tino, because it's two-pronged.
Yeah.
One is you're challenging me as the head of the house.
Yes.
Not directly, but very indirectly.
Yes.
And the second thing is the women themselves. What's the character of a woman that has actually made it?
Exactly.
Because she's now empowered, right? She sort of no longer sees the need to have a man around for her things to work. So naturally, her character changes.
Yeah.
The kind of respect or whatever it is that you would expect from a woman who's not as successful as you, compared to a woman that has made it, might actually differ. So it's a matter of having actually experienced it, either through yourself or indirectly through another person. So now it's in our subconscious mind that a woman who's made it is probably a very difficult woman in terms of how she would be in a relationship,
and being submissive,
because she has she's not going to submit and she's not going to give you a place as the head of the relationship.
Okay, so then just tell me this: when you say submissive, what does it actually mean to you as a man?
Okay, I can respond to that. Firstly, to your initial question, why is it difficult why are African men intimidated, right?
By successful women?
When we were discussing the roles of an ideal, secure African man, provider, protector, profess, lead, I feel like you're already leading yourself, your finances, your career successfully. So already, how you then find it difficult to lead someone who's already leading really well, because they almost feel like How are you going to lead her finances when she's doing so well? How are you going to be able to tell her, no, I don't think that's a good idea when it comes to finances, and she's done so well, and you're at like maybe 40% and she's at like 97%. The submission comes when you know you're good with your money. You know you're great at your career. You know how to make money. You've got things. You've got the results to show that you're good at this thing. And we are just discussing. We're at a barbecue like this. We're sitting, we're talking and whatever. And then Slim says, yeah, I've got this opportunity, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, yeah, I think I'd like to do that. And then I say, I'm the 60%, you're the 97%. We're talking about finance. Then I say to you, I don't think that's a good idea. Are you going to back down and be like, okay, I mean, we can discuss it and see. Because, I mean, okay, maybe the example's a bit skewed, but the point is this. If you're good at something and someone who's not as good at it tries to give you advice, how well do you take it?
Well, it depends on the context in which you're speaking about it. Because maybe if I say, like, you're married, right? You start off, she's still working or she's coming up.
Right.
If something happens in the marriage, then she shoots up above you.
Right.
And then you start acting some type of way because now your wife is making more money than you.
Right.
Right? I find that in a lot of marriages or women who've gotten divorced in that scenario, it's like she made money, the man started feeling some type of way and he broke things. You can give each other advice. It's all about having a teachable spirit. Just because I know all about finance or I'm on 90% and you're on 60 doesn't mean that there's nothing that you can teach me. I'm very much...
It then becomes twice as difficult for a man now.
Yes.
Why though? Because it's going to benefit you.
I want to teach you. I want to show you.
And if I show you that I want to be taught and I want to learn from you, despite me and all my successes,
Yeah, but the reason why Slim brought that second prong part of that dynamic is because you know women that are successful. You know that it's not easy to just tell them if they decide that this is the right thing. They're not going to be as open-minded because they might have actually been tough.
Yeah.
Because that's how they're that successful. So sometimes, and I have a cousin of mine who does well in business, and she always says, I feel like sometimes I have too much masculine energy. Like I feel like I will butt heads first, then realize, maybe I was a bit too rough, because I'm just so used to, we have to be tough, we have to be, proactive, we have to just be a little assertive.
But that's the thing though, because we're, like for me, when you just said masculine energy, I was actually saying to somebody some weeks ago, because of my horrible marriage and where I'm now, I have been in my masculine energy for so long. Now trying to bring myself out of it. It's not out of because that's what I wanted. It was out of the circumstance that pushed me into that masculine energy.
It's always the case.
So sometimes these successful women are pushed. We are pushed into these roles.
I get you.
And then we just rise and we just like, okay, I'm actually good at this. But it's actually not what we want. So when you're now dating and a guy, you're telling them, this, sometimes I find I tone myself down. What do you do? Nothing. I'm just an admin. I don't do much. This. A guy sees the car. You're like, okay, no, sorry. Then they see that. Then now this thing of social media, LinkedIn. But I checked out your LinkedIn, chick. Is this what you do? And things like that. You're like, then trying to explain, like, no, the reason why I'm like this is because I'm forced into that situation. So most successful women who are then saying that men are intimidated by us, you all jump to say, you're so masculine, you're so this, but do you know why she had to get into that masculine energy? Do you know why she had to put that? And it was a survival thing, and most women in their masculine energies, it's a survival. Because this is, as you know, the world is dirty. I mean, Mary's got a husband that protects her. Now me, I don't have someone to protect me.
Right.
And when I have to throw down, it's either me or him, or it's me or them.
And I feel like that's where the difficulty comes in.
Yes.
And that's why you'll find a lot of men say it's the masculine energy, because I feel like because you've been forced to be in that space,
Yeah.
it's difficult to get out of that
Yeah.
space.
It's very hard because then.
And because it's difficult to get out of that space, you still carry the energy.
Oh no, I do. I definitely do.
Yeah, and so that's why a guy will be intimidated, because I don't feel like I'm supposed to impress you. I feel like I'm supposed to outdo you.
But then
And if you come with that energy, then if I feel like I'm not gonna be able to outdo you, then I'm intimidated
No.
because this is the thing. Remember what I said about men and wins.
Yes.
If I feel like I'm not gonna win,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play.
But also, women also want to win, hey?
No, of course.
So it can't just be about.
No, but
men
I'm
and
answering
women.
the intimidation
Yeah.
part.
Yes.
I'm saying this is why men are intimidated, because if they feel like they're not going to win, because remember, men thrive on impressing.
Yeah.
Because if I come and I rock up at your place of work, and I just rock up with flowers, and I'm standing there, and then I say, you know, these are for Olivia, I'd like to see her. And then everybody starts saying, oh my gosh, there's a guy out there, flowers for Olivia. Right? And then Olivia comes, and then she sees me there with flowers. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That gets you in your feminine energy.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
So when that happens, then I'm winning.
Yeah.
Right? But then when it comes to the money, and we're having a conversation about the money, but the money we're talking about is the money that you brought in, because that month I didn't bring in any
You
money.
feel emasculated.
Then that way, there's no feminine energy coming
But
from
you
you.
see,
with
that's
that.
the thing though. Some women don't make it about, oh, it's my money.
Of course.
You know?
And
as
I
much
mean-
as you've worked as a woman and
Right.
you're successful, like I was saying, I keep referring to my marriage. Like I said, I was holding things down.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's my money. I have brought this money.
Of course, of course, of course.
This is for the family. We need to do something with this. But then now, if you're not going to be doing something that's sensible, that is to the good of the family, then that masculine energy kicks in.
Of
I think
course.
for a man, I would only take my wife making, well, if I'm working towards something, right? We say, babe, like even when we're moving here to South Africa, I had to quit my job. I quit my job. I came to live with my friend here. Took me about 8 months to get a contract. My wife was working back in Zim. She was, you know, holding down our son. We had one child at the time. So she was good. I told her, no, as long as you keep your... Well, we moved back to my mom's house as well to cut the rentals and whatever. So for that time, I knew I was working towards something,
Yeah.
right? And that made me feel secure. But not in a permanent setup
Yes.
where I know my wife is always going to make more than me. I think it's just, for me, it's a natural thing. As a man, it will affect me. It's just,
Then
it's
work harder.
the reverse order.
Exactly.
Then work harder.
To say,
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
based on what Olivia was saying, that she was in a situation where she was put in that position where she had to have the masculine because
Right.
he wasn't doing anything.
Right.
Like I've seen a lot of women where they're married and then you look up to, for a certain level of time, you look up to the man to be the provider. But you see that if you keep folding your hands, nothing is happening. Then you're pushed to a place where you have to step in and do what you need to do.
100%.
And then you end up in a situation where you rise so high that you start earning more than him. But if he had done what he was supposed to do in the first place, you
Wouldn't be there.
I mean, I absolutely agree, and I think
Yeah.
the other things to look out for are because a lot of that comes from men who also don't have ambition. Because a guy who has ambition is never going to be comfortable with
Yeah,
his
with that
woman covering all the bills.
But what if they start off with ambition and then they just get comfortable?
yeah,
That's
they
what I'm
do
saying.
that.
Like
Because
that's
I honestly believe that when a man gets married, when you guys are young, you know, you want to be husbands, you know, you aspire to seeing, oh, this guy's a big shot CEO or he's a producer or whatever.
right.
You know, we all want to aspire to that. And, you know, I really don't know how someone cannot have ambition in life, especially when you want to say you want to be a husband. Because to be a husband, that's already ambitious and it's got a lot of... it's very ambitious to be a husband
That's
because
true, yeah.
you know you've got a lot riding on you.
I think we actually need a full episode on Ask an African Male.
No, definitely. I think
But,
we need to get you guys back. Yeah.
So, I think our time has elapsed.